welcome back to my channel. This is EM, aka the Evolving Black Woman, and on today's video, this literally took a lot out of me. When I was putting my notes together, I got into my emotions when and I was like, do I need to do this? Can I do this? But I need to do this because this is very important. Now, for those of you who don't know, this little space of YouTube that I call the Evolving Black Woman, it's really to help Black women to start living intentionally and authentically, right? Step into your truth. And we know as women that we face a lot of issues, but we can find ways to go around them. I'm not saying that it's easy, but yeah. So let me rewind. So yeah, I am here today because I want to speak about Jessica Pettway, a casualty of systematic racism in healthcare, or a casualty in this race war. So that is what I'm going to be speaking today. Before I get into the video, I just want you to know that I posted 4 videos before where I spoke about living a SAP life. Now, a SAP life is simple, affordable, proximity, and sustainability. Those things, those 4 things, that little acronym that I created for myself when I just came to Canada, it's because I sat and I heard women who've been here before, Black women who've been here before. They spoke to me about living in the system, how to navigate it, and for me, I came up with a plan for my life because there's so much issues that we face as Black women. I just wanted to make my life as simple as possible as I integrated into this society. So for those of you who don't know, I'm from the Caribbean. I've lived in Barbados all of my adult life, and I grew up there, but coming to a bigger country, there's so much that you learn, there's so much that you don't know, and there's so much things that you need to learn and unlearn. And for me, that's the first time that I've really understood, overstood racism, supremacy. So for those of you who don't know, racism is still a thing for us as Black people. A lot of us may just have, a lot of us may say microaggression, but it's there. But that's story for another day. So what I want to speak about today, as I said, is Jessica Pettway. Now, Jessica Pettway was a beautiful 36-year-old YouTuber who died from cervical cancer, right? So cervical cancer, first of all, I want to put it out there, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but I did a bit of research, and I just want to share that with you today. This is information that you can use, you can do your own research. I also have some other information from my research that I use. I would put all of that down below, that if you want to go and read for yourself and do your own research, that you can do that. Don't take my word for anything. I'm going to put all that information down below. So yes, cervical cancer. And I do have my notes here because I want to be able to get my points across. If you hear any noise, as I always say, I live in an apartment building, very high traffic downstairs. So yes, I may just have to cut this video and start over because sometimes they're doing stuff in the hallway and they're, it's a lot of stuff that is always happening here, but that's beside the point. Let's get to my video. Okay, so I have my notes, people. So yes, so cervical cancer. So Jessica was misdiagnosed, right? To because when she went, she was having her symptoms, she was experiencing pain, and they said to her that it's fibroids. So please forgive the noise. Please forgive the noise, people. I went to the office and I asked, are you guys having any I call ahead and asked, are you guys having any construction, anything happening today? Are you, it's like no, but it's like every time I start filming, I'm just hearing all these noise, whatever. But yeah, let's go ahead, right? So yeah. So what I want to share with you is that when I was doing my little research, I found out that the symptoms of fibroids and cervical cancer, they're kind of like the same, right? So there's So for cervical cancer, and I got this information from the Canadian Cancer Society. So if you want to go over there and check, you can do that. But this is what I get from the symptoms if you have which are the symptoms of cervical cancer. Okay, so I have like this pain, this fatigue, um this depressed mode, um this like unusually long or heavy cycle. There's a foul smelling discharge. There's bleeding after sexual intercourse. There's pain during intercourse. So all of those things, those are for cervical cancer. And when I went on the Mount Sinai dot org site, right, for fibroids, I found pelvis cramping, sorry, feeling full, like you feel a fullness around your abdomen, like your lower abdomen and stuff. And there's always like you're feeling like there's a pressure in your belly, according to the information from Mount Sinai .org. Painful intercourse, heavy bleeding with clots, bleeding between your cycles, there's longer periods, urinating more often, right? So for me, one of the things that I found really, really confusing, or I should say, I found strange, is that while this young lady was having all of these issues, right? And that is where the discrimination comes in. While this young lady was having all of these issues, didn't it click in the head of one of those professionals, one of those providers, to say, hey, let's go further, let's dig further? But that's where the discrimination comes in. And that is what I want to like just share with you guys, is that for us as melanated people, um like we are more likely to be misdiagnosed like 20% of the time, right? 20% of the time. So I have my notes, and I'm trying to stick to my notes, right? So one of the things that I know for sure is that our pain is never taken seriously, right? And we are always dismissed, right? So my personal story is that my four kids, right? My oldest son is now, I think, I can't remember. I can't remember. Oh my god. But my son is a young adult now, right? So my oldest is around, I think he's 20 something, 28, 20 something, and my youngest is 6, right? So I remember when I had my sections, my I had sections, right? My last daughter, this is what happened. I had my section, I was lying in the bed, and then the doctor gave me, I remember I was like, oh my god, I'm in so much pain that I can't walk, da, da, da. And then he gave me some oxy something something. Now this is strong medicine. Like this is strong. These are strong painkillers. So I'm very like my pain tolerance is very high. But that after that section, that last one, I was in pain. I was in pain. I was in pain, right? So he gave me these, and I was like, I like my mind, something in my, the God frequency in me, because I've come to understand that as I'm evolving. This wasn't any gut feeling. This was my God frequency telling me don't take those things. So I didn't take them. So like 2 days later, I got home. It was really like when I had my daughter, it happened to be at that time the coldest day in Canada. So in Toronto's history of coldness, and for you guys who live in Toronto, who live in Canada, who've experienced Canada, Canada is cold. So imagine that being the coldest day and the coldest week in Canada's history, right? There's noise coming, ignore it. Right? So yeah, I came home like 2 days after, and I have a friend who's a nurse, and I think I actually showed it to my sister. Like I told my sister, and then I think she encouraged me like, yo, no, because she's into nursing and stuff like that. But I have a friend who is a nurse, And I told her, oh, they give me this to take. And she was like, listen, Ian, you don't want to take those. Like, you don't want to take those, right? She's like, those things get, like, you take some of those and sometimes you get so addicted. And that is too strong. Like, that's like so strong. That's too strong. So I end up not taking anything. I did my warm baths. I did my other things that, which are just like natural way of trying to ease the pain and stuff like that. So I share my story with you because I have different instances that I can share where my issues were dismissed, right? Like, I'm actually now still dealing with a little issue. It's not anything major, but that was dismissed, and I've taken steps and action to address that on my own, outside of going to like my normal healthcare, right? So that was just a bit about me. So that's my personal story. I know what it's like to be dismissed when I'm in pain, or when I'm having a medical issue, or if I'm in a medical crisis, right? I know. So that is why I always like to encourage women to be intentional about everything. Be intentional about everything that you do, right? So we want to use Jessica's experience, right, to start doing better. And the sad thing is, Jessica is not the first. Jessica is not the first, and Jessica would not be the last. And that's the sad part about it. As black, brown, melanated people, as black, brown, melanated women, with black, melanated brown children, with black, melanated brown husbands, we need to start paying attention and be intentional when it comes to our health and going into the healthcare system. And that is why I also preach healthy eating, right? Your home, your kitchen should be your pharmacy. You should be able to prepare meals, food that are going to help to nourish your family. And because I literally work in healthcare. Like, I work in healthcare, right? I work in healthcare. So I know. I can see it, right? So I try as much as possible to give my children healthy meals. When they're out there, that's something completely different. But when they're at home, I try to make meals that are healthy. I'm actually a vegan. I'm a vegan, but not all vegans, I'm putting it out there, not all vegans are healthy. But I'm one of those, excuse me, because I grew up around Rastafarians. My uncle, bless his soul, he's now an ancestor, you know, Rastafarian. And for those of you, and I'm maybe going a little bit off track here, but for those of you who know Rastafarian lifestyle, they never like use meat or use animal products and stuff like that. So I'm not just coming into this movement of this plant-based vegan lifestyle. I've lived it when I was younger, right? Growing up in the Caribbean. So it's nothing new to me. So some people find it strange, but I've always been big on health. Even growing up, I've always been big on health. So it's nothing new, right? So back to what I was saying. So yes. So if you go, there's a lot of studies that have shows that show worldwide that racial bias is like literally baked into our culture. So even if we go to the hospitals, they would dismiss us because they don't take us seriously. Like in the 80s, right? Women were used as medical subjects, and they weren't given anesthetic, they were just used. So imagine the brutality. There's actually a book called Medical Apartheid. Now, when I started reading that book, I was crying like a baby. And I think that is one of the books that made me start evolving my mindset around health care when it comes to me going into the system and trying to access health care. And because I know that the racial bias exists, guess what I do? I try to stay out of the fire. If you know a house is burning, you're not going to go into that house, right? You're not going to go into that house. So for me, because I don't want to be experiencing discrimination all the time, all the time, all the time, what I encourage myself to do, what I encourage my family and my friends to do, is to take care of your health. Because if you, I mean, it's not that nothing is going to go wrong. Things are going to go wrong. Things do happen, right? Life happen. We're living life. But one of my big thing is that if you can avoid it, if you can prevent it, like my grandmother would say, prevention is better than cure, right? 1 ounce of prevention is better than 100% over there. Or am I saying it the right way? I don't know. But yeah, prevention is better than cure. So we as black, brown, melanated women, boys, girls, we know that the system is not 100% with us, that there's a discrimination there, right? There's a discriminative element there. So for me, the thing is to work towards taking care of your health and taking care of yourself, right? So, Jessica, unfortunately, Jessica passed, but what can we learn from Jessica's story, from Jessica's the misdiagnosed and Jessica's passing? What can we learn for women? I just want to say, don't allow doctors, nurses, healthcare providers to have the final say on your life. Don't allow it. Don't ever allow it. If you feel something is right, if your God frequency, right, it's not your gut feelings, it's your God frequency. So if your God frequency is telling you that something is wrong, something is wrong. Heal thyself. Healthy. If you put healthy, it's a heal thy, and it means heal thyself, right? So always go and get second opinions. Make sure that you have your early screening. um I think now it's every 2 years, every 3 years. Make sure that you have your checks. If you're feeling pain in your lower belly, if you're feeling pain after you would have had sexual intercourse, if you're feeling pain, if you're bleeding, if you're passing clots, if these things are happening to you, yes, go and get your health checks. But also, if they dismiss you, get second opinion. Go to the ends of the world, the end of the rope, the last person, to make sure that what you're experiencing, that it's affirmed. Don't become another statistic in this system, right? So yeah, get your vaginal swabs, right? Get your pap smear. If it's to the point where you're clotting, get an ultrasound. Stop being too busy for your health, for your life. Like, this one life that we have, that's it. Right? That's it. And when we're gone, we're gone. We've transitioned into another realm, right? We're no longer here. So if you know that, and these things can happen even if you're taking care of your health, things still happen. Even if you're eating the best food, you're having the best life, you're stress free, like, these things can happen. But the most important thing, and what I want to get across to women, is to prioritize and be intentional about your health. If you don't have your health, you have nothing. If you're not healthy, you can't get up and make YouTube videos, you can't be out there on the grind, you can't take care of your children, you can't take care of your husband, you can't take care of your family, you can't take care of yourself, right? So your health is number one. So, Jessica, was Jessica misdiagnosed, or was Jessica dismissed? That is the question that I want to ask today. And if anybody who've ever come across this video, if you ever come across this video, Please leave a comment below. Share your experience. Let me know. Get the word out. Start a group. Get women into accountability sessions. Ask them, are you taking care of your health? That's one of the things that those are some of the healthy things that I've been evolving. I've been evolving around. I ask women, why, what is it? Do you have a problem? Do you want to talk? I have a safe space. I'm open. Do you want to talk? Right? Because a lot of women suffer in silence, and some of us have good reasons too. But my goal here is to encourage some women to not become another Jessica Pettway. Jessica left behind a beautiful husband, a beautiful family. She left behind friends, her mother, her parents. She left behind people who she loved. And if only she had pushed the bar one more. Just say, I'm not taking this. I need to get that ultrasound. I need to have that swab done. I'm not leaving here until you do this. If she had only, and I'm not sure, I don't know, but just what if? Just what if? Just think about it, right? So prioritize your health, ladies. Don't get too busy to check in on yourself. Keep check on yourself, how you're feeling, when it comes to your entire your body, right? Make sure that you're on top of that. Don't become another statistic. you know our pain have been seriously dismissed for years. Even if you got people like there, and there's this thing, and I'm wrapping up now because I hate doing long videos, and I hope that somebody get my point today. Don't become a statistic, and I'm gonna keep saying that. Don't become another Jessica Pettway. Let this be the lesson that push us, that propel us forward into taking our health seriously. We can't afford to lose another black woman because she was dismissed, because there was racial bias. We can't allow that. Right? Take care of yourself so you can take care of your family, so you can take care of your husband, so you can take care of your wife, so you can take care of your community, so you can take care of your immediate sphere. We need all of that. Okay? So, to that beautiful queen who died, may our ancestors welcome you with open arms, and may we use this as a way to be more intentional about our health. Sleep in peace.